Hi there, Keith here with another video blog. There's so many things I want to talk about in terms of this next movie, and I'll let you know right now, this movie review might be a little longer. So let's start off by talking about advertising. If I was to say to you, let's go grab a bite at the Golden Arches, I think most of you would know I was talking about McDonald's. Then if I said to you, hey, you know, I really like your shoes, there's just something about the swoosh, somebody walking by without even looking would know that we're talking about Nikes. The reason for that is because those companies have marketed themselves as the top of mind with their brand. Now, movies are very interesting when it comes to advertising because a lot of movies rely on trailers to get people enticed to go and see them. They're the big budget movies like the Man of Steels and the Star Trek where people are dying to see the trailers and they see them and it doesn't matter what the trailer shows, they're going to go see it anyways. But every now and then, there are movies that fly under the radar that really need an exceptional trailer to entice an audience to come and check it out. It's very rare that I see a trailer that I like. I think you'll find by looking at my reviews that one of the things that irks me is a trailer that gives away the entire movie. So a couple of months ago, I was with my iPad and I was checking out IMDb and I came across a trailer or teaser trailer for a movie called The Bling Ring. Now the difference between a teaser trailer and an actual trailer is length. The teaser trailer seems to be a little shorter and just gives you like a little very brief snippet of the movie. And what a brief snippet we got with The Bling Ring. What we found by looking at this teaser trailer was that Emma Watson, or as I like to call her, Hermione, was in this trailer, but it was a new breed of Hermione, a very seductive early 20-year-old Hermione. Then from there, we got these kids robbing houses. We got the fact that it was written and directed by Sofia Coppola, and we got the fact that it was called The Bling Ring. Now, The Bling Ring is based on a book by Nancy Jo Sales, a writer for Vanity Fair magazine. So I got enticed by this, and I started checking this out, and as somebody who doesn't really pay attention to Hollywood gossip, I found out that this was the story about some rich kids on the wrong side of the tracks, if you will, who'd found themselves in trouble in California, who went to the Hollywood Hills and broke into the homes of celebrities such as Orlando Bloom and Audrina Partridge and Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan. So then when the full trailer came out about a month or so later, I was really intrigued by this movie to the point, bought the book, went through the book, thought to myself, this movie is going to be phenomenal. And I know I wasn't alone because The Bling Ring opened this year's Cannes Film Festival and opened it to rave reviews. Now, it's very interesting when you think about the Coppola family. So when we're talking about advertising and the enticement of a trailer, you also have to think to yourself about the Coppola family. So if I was to say, you know, give me a family in Hollywood that's dominated film for like the last few decades, or have made phenomenal films in the last few decades, the Coppola family definitely has to be in your top 5. I mean, you think about it. Francis Ford Coppola in the Godfather trilogy. Any movie viewers, any movie watcher is probably going to put The Godfather or The Godfather Part 2 in their top 10 favorite movies of all time. And Sofia Coppola is no slouch either. Movies like Lost in Translation have been absolutely well received, and she's slowly but surely building a strong portfolio of films in her own right. And I definitely think The Bling Ring is going to add to that. Now, there are a lot of things that I really liked about The Bling Ring. So, of course, we talked about the fact that Emma Watson's in it, and she does a phenomenal job playing a mean girl, a real mean girl, but also a mean girl who with absolutely no conscience of anybody else around her, breaking into houses and stealing things, not because she needs the money, but just because she wants to feel part of the lifestyle. Also in this movie, Tassia Farmiga is in it. Of course, she's the sister of Vera Farmiga. I'll be honest with you, in my opinion, kind of the weak link of the Bling Ring bunch, but I guess still added some interest in the sense of rounding out the 5 people of the Bling Ring. Now, Claire Julian, a relatively newcomer, is also in the Bling Ring, and she plays Chloe. Chain-smoking Chloe, who of course is along for the ride because she wants to get all the latest fashions and that. But the 2 characters that really stood out to me were Israel Broussard's Mark, as well as Katie Chang's Rebecca. Now the whole Bling Ring started with these 2, where the character Mark started at this school, kind of felt left out, didn't feel like he fit in, and then Rebecca kind of took him under his wing, and they developed a very strong friendship, kind of like brother and sister. And because he didn't want to let his sister down, the next thing you know, they're doing B&Es together. I remember a few years ago, on Saturday Night Live, the lovely Tina Fey was doing a phenomenal impression of Sarah Palin. And it got to the point where anytime I would see Sarah Palin, I'd be like, you know what? I'm done with you. I want to see Tina Fey do an impression with you. It's kind of how I felt with the Bling Ring. If I pick up a paper, if I go through the internet and I hear about the actual people in the Bling Ring, I just think to myself, breaking and entering. I'm not necessarily condoning it. I'm not saying that it's cool. And please, for the love of God, don't show up at my house and trying to take my Prince CDs. But when I look at Emma Watson and her performance here, it just kind of solidifies to me the fact that she's such a phenomenal young actress. As she's graduated from Hogwarts and she's gone into what I think is one of the best high school movies of all time, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and then again completely flipped the script with the Bling Ring. But the thing to me that I really liked about this movie is the fact that you think about movies like Titanic and you think about movies like Lincoln and movies that are based on real stories. It's like you go into the Titanic and it's like you know the boat's going to sink. But there's still something about that movie that was absolutely enticing that made it one of the most successful movies of all time. With the Bling Ring, you absolutely know what's going to happen. You know they're going to get caught. But it's the story that Miss Coppola takes us on. It's the ride that she takes us on through this journey. You're at the point where you're thinking to yourself, even though you know what they're doing is wrong, there's certain characters in this group that you actually start to feel for. And that, to me, is the magic of the Coppola movie making. When we go back to The Godfather and we think about the fact that we had the Corleone family running around killing people, you think to yourself, you never really blame them. You never thought to yourself, how could you do that? Because it was the Corleone family. And I think likewise in the Bling Ring, there's certain characters in the movie you're kind of like, yeah, you're breaking in and you're doing these things and it's not right, but I never felt in the movie where I was, chastising or feeling that they needed to be condemned either. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the Bling Ring is the next Godfather, but what I am saying is that there's some interesting similarities. I'm giving this movie an A-. I went back and forth on this, but I'll be honest with you. This is a movie that's completely lived up to the hype for me. It's unfortunate that it's in limited release. I wish that a major studio had got a hold of it because I think its potential would have been much greater. And if a major studio had gotten a hold of it, I probably would have released it in the fall or late in the fall just so it could have been more of an Oscar contender. Because the unfortunate thing is right now it's going to get lost in the shuffle of movies such as the Star Trek and the World War Z's and the craptastic Man of Steel. If you have a chance, and this is a movie that's playing in your area, I definitely recommend that you go and you check it out. For me, it is definitely one of those movies that I was really looking forward to seeing this year, and it definitely delivered for me. I know it's not on a lot of people's radar screen, but it definitely should be. Again, never will be concerned or interested in Hollywood gossip in the least, but I am interested in watching a good movie, and when it comes to the Bling Ring, you won't be disappointed. Again, you can check me out on Twitter at CFL_fan and follow my comments there. As well as you can always check out my Facebook page at facebook.com/WoodyWhittier. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out this blog, and I'll see you at the movies.